And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the final major of the 2021 PGA season, the Open Championship. I still call it the British Open, but I've been told I'm not supposed to call it the British Open. So the Open Championship is going down this week, the final major. I love this major. Should be a fun one. You can find me on Twitter at BDM. Check the podcast at Always Press DFS. And my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm kind of confused. I thought this was the Barbasol podcast.
We're doing that. That's the late night special. That's coming up later. We have to wait and see how many withdrawals from the Open go to the Barbasol. That's what we're waiting for.
Nobody who's withdrawn from the Open is going to the Barbasol. That field is something else. But I do have a few picks if we get to the end. Remind me.
Oh no, we can definitely do that because it is it's your national event. It's your deal. So I'm surprised you're not playing like in the Pro-Am or something. As the pro,
well, it costs like $25,000.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand. It's like a big charitable thing.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like the AT&T one out here. Like I know guys that have played in it, and like the big celebrities, they probably still do their donations, no doubt. But the not so big name celebrities you see playing out there, it's like minimum 25. It's a lot of money. Like a lot, and like you have to like show like hours of doing stuff. And like one guy I know, it's because he like runs the first tee of like North Monterey County and stuff like that. So you have to like really put in the time and the money to make that happen. So yeah, it's not just like, hey, I want to go sign up for the Pro-Am.
I'm with you.
But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. First up, before we get into the Open, and Dom is in the chat. I want to shout out Dom. If you guys aren't in the Slack chat, I know we talk about it a lot, and it's not for everybody. A, it's free, so it should be for everybody. B, Dom does amazing work in there for like any event. He's always involved. He'll answer questions. He'll find data for whatever you want. For majors, he goes like all in. Like he basically doesn't care about the week before an event and starts researching. He has a Google Doc that he's got in there that we're using. He just drops stuff left and right. I have the Google Doc pulled up. I'm going to use some of it straight up for like the course preview stuff because it's easier than the 12 things I look at. He's got it all. So I recommend checking that out. Dom does great work over there. Jesse, did you watch any of the John Deere?
I watched a little bit on like Thursday, I think, and a little bit on Saturday, and that was about it. I was very uninterested. My team sucked, so it didn't grab my interest.
Yeah,
after our boy Bo Hostler shit the bed.
I love it because we finally decided it's time for a Bo Hostler week. He's playing great. I text Jesse after Thursday's round where he's like 2 or 3 over. I'm like, so yeah, about Bo. And he goes, I don't know. I haven't checked anything all day. So I kind of tell him, he goes, huh. So the next day he gives us hope, Jesse. He gives us hope.
I know.
And just shattered our dreams. But
I blame it on you for tweeting.
It was me. It was my fault. It was totally my fault. I won't say who I pulled, but I pulled one. And yeah, it's the second straight week where my Thursdays have looked outstanding and the Fridays just gone up in flames. So that's been fun stuff. But I figure I'm saving the mojo for our major.
I hope so.
It matters the most. So that'd be fun. I love link style golf because I'm not a big hitter. So links play into my kind of forte. So that's always a beautiful thing. Before we get into all of this, do you have some past event history, I guess, for the Open Championship, for Royal St. George's, for whatever you prefer?
Yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, I do. So the last time it was at Royal St. George was 2011, and Darren Clark was your winner at 5 under, 3 shots over DJ and Phil Mickelson. So, I mean, that's really all that matters. They did have one in 2003. Ben Curtis won it at 1 under, 1 shot over Thomas Bjorn, Vijay Singh. None of these people are in the field. It doesn't matter. And they also had one in 1993. Greg Norman won it. So as far as like actual like course history, that's it. But event history, last year or 2 years ago, didn't have one last year, canceled. Shane Lowry was your champion, been champion for a long time now. I think the longest champion ever in the history of the event. 15 under, 6 shots over Tommy Fleetwood. 2018 was Franny's year. 8 under, 2 shots over Kisner, McIlroy, Rose, Xander. 2017 was Jordan Spieth. Go get that. 12 under, 3 shots over Matt Kuchar. Henrik Stenson in the battle of Henrik and Phil Mickelson. Won it in 2016, 20 under, 3 shots over Phil. Zach Johnson somehow won this event at St. Andrews by just hitting every wedge to 2 feet. 15 under in a playoff over Leishman and Oosthuizen. Rory's a past winner. Phil's won this before. This is his lone, as far as major goes, this is his lone major. Stuart Sink has won this major in the past. Tiger Woods has won it 3 times.
Only 3?
Only 3 times. Yeah.
No, I loved it when you threw out for those that didn't understand, when you said go get that. That's one of the great ones. That's when Spieth was in his prime. Like he's kind of back. I'll give him that. He's kind of getting back, but that was when he's in his heyday of just like he just drains a putt and tells his guy, "Caddy, go get that."
Mm-hmm.
Was that the same year that he had to hit it over the grandstands from the other? Like, yeah.
Well, no, he hit it like into the
driving range,
and then had to hit it over a mound. You couldn't see that, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was just legendary stuff. That was it. That was a fun Sunday. And then the Molinari one, that was great for many reasons for longtime listeners of the show. That was a great weekend. But it was also great because I was reminded of it today on Twitter, because the internet never forgets that Kisner in his practice rounds wore the 1776 hat around the golf course at the Open Championship. So, you can take the Southern boy out of the South, but you'll never take the Southern boy out.
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
Right.
So that kind of stuff, that's the sense of humor I enjoy. That's good stuff right there. But you mentioned this course, it hasn't been played a ton, but one thing it was, the very first Open Championship was at Royal St. George way back when. So it's been in a loop for quite some time, just not as active, it seems like, as the others. Great golf course. It's link style at its finest. It's and then Dom also put this in the chat. Every time he sees a tweet, he throws it on that thread. But the greens attendant, the man in charge over there, he basically said compared to 2011, fairways are going to be wider, so it should be quote unquote easier to hit. The greens are a little larger and softer, but the goal is still firm and fast by Thursday. Let's keep that in mind. It's going to be playing a little less than 7,200 yards, and they already said they're going to move the tee boxes around depending on the weather. And the weather is already stating that it's going to be windy AF, as they say. So it's for the most part, I think starting Thursday morning, we're talking like anywhere from like 15 to 30 mile an hour winds at times. But we've also seen on those coastal things that things can, stop at a moment's notice, and you'll get some clarity for a while. So, trying to pick the draw is interesting. So you got a full field, but unlike other tournaments, they all start on 1. So there's really no wave advantage. It's more like sections of the day advantages, potentially. So you have to keep that in mind. It is a par 70, a little less than 7,200 yards, as I mentioned. Royal St. George's Golf Club, I should mention the full name, and it's in the greatest town I think I've ever heard of, in Sandwich, England. So that's pretty cool stuff. Just seeing the pictures of how they have to get to it, and it's literally right on the coast. That's why weather is a big, big factor here. Always windy. It's definitely a course that if it's not windy, they can have their way with it for the most part. So that's something to keep in mind. But very, very undulating fairways. It reminds people of Kapalua, of Augusta, and other linksy style courses that really no flat lies in the fairway. Even sometimes you'll hit a fairway and next thing you know, you're still over in the rough on the left because you just got the bad break. Nothing you can do about it. So mental toughness is going to be big, which is why you'll hear a lot of past event history is very key here, because any linksy course with wind, you're going to get a lot of bad breaks. You just got to be able to deal with them. That's one thing. Also with the wind, you're going to have to be able to scramble very, very well. That's going to be a big thing, because hitting greens in regulation with the wind is very, very difficult, especially getting to stick if it does get windy and firm and fast. So you have to keep that in mind. So scrambling should come into play. The par 5s are scoreable, not really for eagles, but you should be able to get birdies there. The last 4 holes are very, very difficult. 2 of them are like the biggest bogey holes on the course, like not in the top 5 bogey holes on the course. So keep that in mind. If you think you're feeling good going towards the end, it ain't over yet. So you have that as well. It could lead to a fun Sunday also. Other than that, it's your typical linksy style stuff. You got the big grasses in the rough that make things fun to hit out of. But overall, bent grass greens with quote unquote fescue in there. It's just accuracy is going to be very, very key, which is not always easy because, again, you might think you hit it accurately and get screwed. So that approach game is going to come into play. But one thing Dom mentioned, and a lot of these things they've mentioned, is in past events here and at other open events, distance still plays a big factor, because like we talked about, if you're going to miss it, at least miss it long type thing, because it'll give you a chance to come out. There's going to be a lot of weird breaks, bottom line. I guess it's one of those, it's not where the U.S. Open where we say like all hell breaks loose because it's just built to make you break loose. You can still go low at the Open Championship if you hit it right. but there's so many other factors that's out of the control by aka the wind. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. So with all that said, Jesse, what are you looking at this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of just greens in regulation. I mean, there's just giving yourself a chance to make some putts. It's such different putting over there too than the greens are slower because they have to be because it's so windy all the time. The grasses are different. So just giving yourself chances at birdies or whatever. It'll be interesting to see what does win this. If they have made it a little bit easier, I mean, it's still, the last time they were here, 5 under par wins. So if it's a little bit easier, I mean, that's of course weather permitting. Do they get to double digits? I don't know. So
Norman got to 13 the year he won. So that shows you the gap.
Did he? Okay.
I think so. That shows you the gap that the wind can do.
I'm with you. I mean, I just want guys who are going to make some pars, avoid the big numbers, and hopefully luck box into some birdies. So with that being said, like I said, greens and regulation, accuracy off the tee still does matter, I think, and driving distance will play a factor as well, and then scoring on the par fives. Man, you got to get those par fives.
Got to get those par fives because you're going to have some big holes where things go wrong. The other thing I didn't mention that I should have, typical to your links courses, we got some big boy bunkers out here as well, like big boy bunkers that are going to cost you at least 1, maybe 2 strokes, depending on how you lucked out into that thing. So keep that in mind as well. Makes things so much fun. Fansharesports.com. Use promo code AlwaysPress to get 20% off the package of your choice. Just a couple things to look at. Guys coming in good form over the last 6 events in DK scoring. Sam Burns, Morikawa, Spieth, English, and, well, he's only got 2 tournaments, so I'll cancel him out. Abraham Answer checks the boxes there. Last 6 events on links-style courses. Brooks Koepka, Bobby Mack, Xander, Henrik Stenson, Justin Rose, and Ricky Fowler. And then when we were looking at last 6 events on par 70, 7,000 to 7,200 yards, you got Webb, Schauffele, Billy Ho, Kevin Kisner checking the boxes there. So it's a loaded field. We're going to say it a million times that all the pricing is, Dom says 40-foot bunker on the front 9 that is called the Coffin. So that'll tell you what you need to know right there. But with that being said, we're going to say the pricing is crazy because it's a major event. So there's going to be a lot of guys priced in goofy stuff here. But let's start it off here, Jesse. 10K and above. You got Rahm at 11.3, Rory at 10.9, Brooks at 10.7, DJ 10.4, Xander 10,000. What are you liking up top?
Start with Rahm. Obviously, it's hard to argue against the kind of golf that he's played over the last month, especially. Finished 7th at the Scottish Open last week. He was leading after Friday, and then I quit paying attention. I don't even know who won that event, but and then obviously won the U.S. Open. He was going to win the Memorial before he had the WD, and before that he finished in the top 10. He finished 8th at the PGA Championship. So back-to-back top 10s, including a win at majors. I just don't see how, you argue against him. I mean, obviously anybody above 10K here is more than, really anybody above 8K is more than capable of winning, but he's got to be the heavy favorite, and he is for obviously a good reason. I guess I'm going to have to go to Xander. Just my model likes him. Come off the top 10.
Now we all know, guys. Now we all know. It's been said.
So go ahead and there's some fade material if you tuned in for that. Top 10 Scottish Open, 7th at the U.S. Open, 11th at Memorial. I mean, just playing really, really good golf right now. And again, my model just loves him. DJ obviously finished 2nd here. You can make an argument for him. Brooks is, he is what he is. I don't know why Rory's 10-9. He missed the cut last week at the Scottish Open, finished 59th at the Irish Open. I know he top 10th the U.S. Open, but that's kind of an odd price to me. I feel like he's overpriced there. I mean, I don't know who you would put up there by Rahm, but really Rahm should probably be like 11.5, and the next guy should be like close to 10.5.
Yeah, I think Rory's
a favorite as he is.
I think Rory's a 10-9. Like, he missed the cut, but then prior to that, 2nd, 4th, 5th. So,
well, I mean,
I know.
You mean before the missed cut last week? He was 2nd, 4th?
No, I was talking about the recent form at the Open Championship.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Well, just coming in, so he's played well in the past few, but I don't know, man. He's in kind of a weird place. I mean, he got to win this year, which it's just weird to say that. It just doesn't feel like I forgot about the Wells Fargo, but still. Anyways, he's probably going to be the least popular up here, I would imagine. With Rahm being the most popular, then probably I would imagine Xander, and then DJ and Brooks kind of. I don't know, man. You can probably get some guys up here that at low ownership, I would say, because a lot of people probably think like me, and I'm not really feeling anybody really that much above 10K besides Rahm, but I don't really want to pay that much for him, you know.
No, that makes total sense to me. I can't argue that one at all, but it'll be quite interesting to see how it goes because Rahm should be super popular, as you mentioned, and I don't mind him. I would definitely put him towards the top of the list if you're going to pay all the way up, like you said, coming in phenomenal form. I rarely ever Rory, so I probably won't start this week. It's just one of those deals. DJ could be a nice low-owned pick as well, I think. I think he's kind of getting overlooked here because he's coming in some weird form, especially at the Open Championship. 51st, miscut, 54th, last 3 times at the Open. But Xander's going to be very popular, and he's playing great golf, as you said. So it'll probably keep me off of Xander, which will stink when he actually finally wins one of these. But for me, it's Rahm, and then I'm going Brooks. Brooks is playing some good golf right now. T4, T39, T6, T10 in his 4 trips to the Open Championship. And if you look at his recent form coming in here, T5 at the Travelers, T4 at the U.S. Open, missed the cut at the Palmetto because, as we said before, why does he care about the Palmetto Championship? And then T2 at the PGA. So you take out that little Palmetto tournament, and you can take out the Travelers if you want to be fair. T2 at the PGA, T4 at the U.S. Open. Like, this is what Brooks does, people. Big game hunting, and he's coming to the Open Championship. People probably are thinking Rahm this, DJ, whatever. I think Brooks at 10-7. If he comes in low owned, I'm going to be jumping on that in a big way. So for me, it's Brooks and it's Rahm up here. But like a broken record, if I have it my way, I'm just starting in the 9K range anyways. That's just what I'm going to do. I love balanced approaches could be very popular this week. It could also be, scars and scrubs because there's justifiable low 7s and 6K guys. I put a lineup in the Slack chat the first time I looked at the pricing this morning on Monday morning. And I'm like, tell me how this doesn't 6-6. I know it won't because whenever you feel that confident, like something stupid's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's like I looked at this going, no guys like under $7,300, no guys over like 96. Like, how does this not it seems too easy. So we'll see. But getting to the 9K range here, we got Bryson at 99, Spieth at 97, JT at 96, Usti at 93, Morikawa and Hovland 92 and 91 making their first appearance at the Open Championship, and Tyrell Hatton at 9,000. What are you looking at here in the 9K range?
Jordan Spieth, for sure, 9,700. Obviously, past winner. Played the U.S. Open 19th, Memorial 18th, second Charles Schwab Challenge. He's got a win this year back at the Texas Open in April. He's playing well. I've heard that people think he's going to be popular, or whatever. I feel like it's going to be one of those types of things where he gets touted up so much that people fade him and he doesn't come in as high owned. That's my thought process on it. Could be completely wrong on that, obviously, but I'm playing Jordan Spieth. Louis Oosthuizen and paying $9,300 for him is odd, but I mean, the guy's playing really well, and obviously as a past event winner as well. And then Morikawa at 9,200. He's coming off a 71st last week, but before that he was 4th at the U.S. Open, 2nd at the Memorial. He finished 8th at the PGA Championship, playing very well, minus, that 71st. Still made the cut last week or whatever. I really kind of wanted to play Hovland, and my model likes him, but, man, I don't know if I can, trust his short game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's going to be very important this week. Very important.
I mean, he did scramble very well at the BMW that he won. I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. But before that, it's really sketch with him. So it kind of makes me concerned. And every time I play him, it's like me playing Xander. It just sucks.
Yeah, when Hovland wins, it sounds simple. When he wins, it's because the short game figured out that week. So it's like one of those, you kind of want to play him because he's got every other tool in the bag. Did he bring the last piece of it or not? What's it going to be this week? So I get it. Maybe, and he probably comes in low owned because one of the big narratives, like I kind of mentioned earlier, is past history at the Open period is very important in this event. Yeah. You could go through all the different trends, like X amount of rounds in the top 10 here and blah, blah, all these different things. So he's already going to be behind the 8 ball in that theory of the argument. So probably comes in low owned in that respect to begin with. So if you want to go Vic, I can see your argument for that for sure. For me in this 9K range, I'm definitely not playing Bryson DeChambeau. If he wins, he wins. That's fine. Spieth at 97 is going to be very popular. I think he's a great play, as you mentioned. Playing around on Fantasy National, like I did just for fun because I'm learning how to use the tools here, people. But I did difficult courses, the length of the course, par 70 and everything, but with the windy factor involved. And in this field, he is the 4th best DK scorer over the last, X amount of years of this event. So he plays very well here, as you'd expect. He checks those boxes, and he's playing awesome golf right now. So I have no problem going there, but I like some pivots off of him. I love JT at 96, coming in off a really, really good week at the Scottish Open. You can look that way for Justin Thomas. $9,600, very cheap for JT. 8th at the Scottish Open, and that includes duffing a 3-wood out of the fairway. Did you at least catch that, Jesse?
I did not see that, no. Was that on the weekend?
Yes, I will send that to you because I saw it all over Twitter.
I did watch a lot of golf. Go off on a little side rant for just a second. I watched a lot of the Scottish Open on Thursday and Friday because it was on when I woke up, and the fucking coverage for that is insane. So much better than anything we can get on Thursday or Friday, maybe even Saturdays for the PGA Tour. It's crazy.
Yeah, the European Tour does that right all the time. Like they're so good at it. So
weird to me.
Definitely. Yeah, it is very weird. You'd think it might be different, but I guess it shows you how much commercials people love to get that money for in the U.S.
I guess.
But yeah, Scottish Open played well there. T19 at the U.S. Open. He's playing rough for a while there, but his last 2 events he's looked much better. So I think JT is definitely someone that checks the box for me at 96. I'm with you. Like I really, really want to play Usti before I even saw the pricing. I'm like, okay, it's Usti week. Here we go, major time. 93 is a little tough, a little tricky. It's tough.
I will say the one thing about that is it should
lower
keep
his
ownership. Yes, should.
Yeah. Well, and then if you look at his stats, like if I use and I'm going to play around with different like search functions here, but just for fun on this one, the same thing I was talking about with Spieth, he's 23rd in the field in DK scoring. He's 12th or 13th in the stroke gain total. And if you're talking about approach game, he's 25th. So these aren't like top, they're more like $8,300 value, it looks like, but he should make the weekend, and we've seen Usti get hot, especially of late. So he's really, really intriguing at 93, and he could definitely give you some ownership leverage, like you said, because he should come in low owned. So I like the appeal of Usti in that range. And then the other guy I had written down here, that's it. I only had those 3. Spieth, JT, and Usti are the main ones for me. I'm kind of, for the most part, I have a couple debutantes in mind, but I'm trying to avoid most of them as we go through this. 8K range now. We got Cantley at 89, Reed at 88, Matsuyama is gone, Casey 86, Willie Z 85, Finau 84, Webb 83, Scheffler 82, Scott 81, Rose and Fleetwood at 8,000. Who you liking here?
Start with Paul Casey at 8,600. He finished 54th here back in 2011. Come off a 36th place finish at the Travelers, top 10 at the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship this year. So he's playing really well. Scheffler, man, he surprised me last week. I didn't expect his game to translate so well to the Scottish Open, and he finished 12th. So I think he's viable. I do think he will have higher ownership than he would have if he didn't play it, or if he didn't play so well. So keep that in mind. Tommy Fleetwood at 8,000 would be my last guy that I'm really focused on here. I think it's time to start going back to Tommy. He's playing more solid golf than he was earlier in the year. 4 straight made cuts for him, 2 straight top 20, basically what are top 25s. Finished 26 last week. And both of those events were, across the pond over the Irish Open, the Scottish Open. So those would be my guys. I'm focused on the 8K range.
Yeah, I like Patty Reed, of course. It's one of those.
I was going to say, is it a Pat Reed week?
I like him. It's weird though. If I look at that little model I built here, he's 67th in the field at DK scoring. So we want much more than that at 88. He makes cuts. He does great in those regards. You're looking at the Open Championship of late, 10th, T28, miscut, T12, T20. So T20 and 3 of the 4 cuts he made. That's outstanding. $8,800. If you need a guy that can scramble, Reed's one of your best. He can do that. Better than pretty much anybody out there, except maybe Jordan Spieth, maybe. But Reed's really good in that. So 88, I like quite a bit. Casey at 86, I agree with what you said on that one. I do have Scheffler at 82. I agree he will be a little more popular, but I had him last week as a very, very low-owned play at the Scottish, which he was. he'll be more popular this week, but I'm intrigued, especially if it gets windy. He can play in those winds like he had in Texas. So I like him at 8,200. And then I got the Fleetwood one. I'm with you there. 2nd, 12th, and 27th, his last 3. And he is a very, very good scorer in these conditions. 8th bet, top 10 in a lot of the stroke gain stats on these windy situations. So you got him, and then Adam Scott. Adam Scott at 81 is very, very intriguing to me, Jesse. I know it's not fun with Adam Scott. It's stressful with Adam Scott, but he's made 5 straight cuts at the Open, including, let's say, 20 seconds or better at the – oh, no, that's Justin Rose. Sorry, Scott. Yeah, got 20 seconds or better. He's done that very, very well, and he's made a handful of cuts in a row, which is nice to see because he was very, very sketchy in total. Like he had a 13th at Traveler, 35th at the U.S. Open, 16th at the Memorial. So 3 straight made cuts there. Made 4 of his last 5. He didn't get the PGA Championship. That was tough. That's a tough. And he's a guy that plays great in these conditions in his career. Really, really good in these conditions. Him and Fleetwood are almost identical when it comes to the strokes gained overall type stuff. So Scott at 81 could be very intriguing as well. Him and Fleetwood for nice little savings in that range also. All right. When we drop down into the 7K range, 79 to 75, Lowry, Fitz, Cam Smith, Leishman, Neiman, J-Day, Garcia, M is not going to be there either. Abraham Answer, Lee Westwood, Phil Mickelson, and that's it. So what do you have in this range?
I got a question for you after this over. Or not after I talk here, and I think you probably already know what it is. But
yep, I got you.
Shane Lowry.
The answer is yes, by the way.
Shane Lowry is the defending champion, correct?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, okay. Defending champion, 23rd last week at the Irish Open. I think he's very playable there at 79. I think it's J-Day time again. So he played here in 2011, finished 30th. 2 straight top 15s for him. Now, these are at the Travelers and the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Not necessarily majors, except for in their respective cities. He made the cut at the PGA Championship. I think he's figuring some shit out. I think he's worth playing at 77. Garcia at 76, finished in 9th place here way back in 2011. 3 straight top 20s for him. Again, not comp except for maybe the U.S. Open where he finished 19th. And that's following 4 straight missed cuts before that. So I like Sergio at 76. I think there's plenty of guys to look around at and play with in this range. Leishman, obviously a good win player. Cam Smith tends to play well on links types of courses. At least he does in my mind. I could be wrong about that. I don't have any hard data to back it up. But he's kind of coming in with some wonky form. 30th miscut. I kind of want to go to him, but then again, I don't know if I can trust it. But the price is good on him at 78. I think he's, if you're building 150 lineups, I would put him in at least 10% or so.
Yeah, Cam Smith, he's the 4th DK scorer in my model here. I'm with you when I was first making my list. I'm like, I don't really think I want a Cam Smith. His form and all this. If it's a windy event, he plays very well in these conditions. So it is something to keep in mind. And would you like to ask?
Well, just real quick before I get to that, people need to know that you were very anti-model for the longest time.
Yep. Well, I still have my notepad right here.
I know you do. You and Kevin are like the last 2 holdouts in the industry.
And Kevin jumped on this before I did.
He's been on Fantasy National for a while, but I just want to point that out. I mean, if Bubba's going there, people, it's time.
It's good stuff. I'm just lazy half the time, and I'm always the guy I see it. It's in my brain. We just go with it. But you look at they make pretty green colors to make it easier for you.
I'm with you. So the question is it Matt Fitzpatrick week?
Hell yes, it is. And damn it, did he play so well last week? I had this one circled for a while because he was slowly getting back into form. He wasn't top 10 machine like he was for a while there. He was slowly getting it back. And then I was just like, okay, just kind of make the cut and have some fun this week. Just do that. No, he has to make the cut and play really, really, really good this week is what he has to do. He almost won that. He should have won that thing. He finished 2nd. He kind of let that one go at the end there. But T10 at the Palmetto, T55 U.S. Open, T23 at the PGA, 14th at Heritage, a couple missed cuts there also. Yeah, this is a setup that plays very, very well for Mr. Fitzpatrick. So I will be jumping back on that train. Problem is he's going to be really popular this week. Really popular. Well, I say that, and he never is, though. He never is. People just go right past him. He should be popular this week. So I like Fitzy. I definitely do. I think your Cam Smith play is a phenomenal pivot off of him if he's chalky.
Yeah,
I think it's a great pivot off of him. So something to do there. I'm on Shane Lowry with you. I've been playing him a lot lately because no one else does. And he makes cuts. And if he runs hot, he can top 10 it for you. But at worst, more often than like majority of the time, he's making cuts, which is awesome. So I like that as well. And a couple other guys here. I'm glad you said it first because I'm on J-Day as well. Like, it's hard to ignore the current form, the past history at Open Championships, because you play golf a lot too, Jesse. Like, course setups and like just environment. You got to get like a linksy, windy course can ruin a lot of people. Like, it really can. So the fact these guys can do it time and time again, like I remember back to when J-Day had an uphill birdie putt to force a playoff thing against Zach Johnson that year, and he left it like 2 feet short on the 18th hole, and I just wanted to like break something for him. It was like you'd never leave it short, but that just shows you he's contended in these pretty well. So I'm with you on J-Day. It's scary that we're both on him, but $7,700, very good price tag for the upside that he brings to the table. So Lowry, Fitz, J-Day, and the only other guy I have here, Lee Westwood, 5 straight made cuts at this event, T4 last go round. I know it's been a little sketchy since he had that really, really hot run there for a while, but seems like he's getting back into form. 35th at the Open, 46th at the U.S. Open, T71 at PGA, but 21st to Byron Nelson. It hasn't been like that run he was on, but getting back in this kind of environment, maybe more cash game than tournament upside, but I like what he brings to the table at $7,500. And for you model people out there, for this one I put together, he is the number 1 DK scorer in the model. Number 1. So Lee Westwood at 75. It surprised me, but he's in play.
I'd say.
7. Yeah. Now I know when Jesse goes, I don't know why this guy ranks so high in my model, but he's like second. And then he watched the week and then he finishes like 7th. And you're like, oh, that's why. Gotcha. Yeah. $7K to $7,400. Who you looking at?
Daniel Berger at 7,400. I think he's playable. I've heard his name quite a bit. I think he'll be popular, so I don't know how much you really want to go there. I'd rather go to like Bezenhout, man, at 74. So the guy, I don't know when the last time he missed a cut. He hasn't missed a cut since at least January 10th. So more or less this whole entire year. I mean, his finishes aren't necessarily like they're not outstanding, but if you're looking for a guy who's just going to make, potentially who has a good chance to make the cut or should make the cut, 7,400. Bobby Mack at 73, 18th place finish last week. Made the cut to U.S. Open, made the cut to PGA Championship, made the cut at the Masters. So going for the 4 for 4 made cuts this year at majors. Harris English at 7,300, coming off the win, 3rd place at the U.S. Open. I feel like this is a bit of a misprice on him. I don't know what his Open Championship history is like, but
my English,
yeah,
he played here in 16 and 15 and made the cut both years.
There you go. My model likes Thomas Dietrich. He's coming off a 2nd place at last week, and before that it was 3 straight missed cuts. Now that was the Irish Open, U.S. Open, PGA Championship. Before that, he made a bunch of cuts in a row, mostly on the European Tour. So keep that in mind. I've heard people mention Kokrak, but then talk about the fact that they don't want to play him because of bunkers. Yeah. I mean, like, when do they not? When does the PGA Tour go to a course without bunkers?
I'm with you.
I mean, so like we're not going to play him because
he's not purposely hitting them in there either.
Right.
The goal is not to hit out of them to begin with.
It's just kind of an odd reason to fade somebody. I mean, he's playing well, obviously. Won the Charles Schwab a little over, about 6 weeks ago or whatever.
He's got distance.
Yeah, I mean, at that price at 7,200, I like him quite a bit myself. Poulter 7,200, guy's just a grinder. Another, like, if you're playing cash, a guy that I would consider for that. 4th place at the Scottish Open last week, hasn't missed a cut since the Wells Fargo at the beginning of May. And then Guido down at 7,100. I do think he'll be more highly owned, just because a lot of people in the industry are on him now, and like Mayo and guys who drive ownership a lot more than me and you do. Let's just put it that way.
Definitely.
So, but 4 straight made cuts for him. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. He did finish 35th last week. But either way, playing really good golf at $7,100. So,
yep. And he is Andrew cursed. So have fun with that one.
Oh, is he really?
He was one of the 3 guys that he picked to win. Yes.
Who are the other 2?
Now I'm going to brain fart. I want to. I can't remember. I knew Guido stood out like a sore thumb. I was like, oh, that one. That's going to be interesting.
Well, because it makes you're like, well, that's very easy for me to fade him now. Yeah.
Real quick, for me, I am 100% on the Bez train with you. I'm like this $7,000 to $7,400 range. You could really have the ownership fun here because Bez usually comes in low owned. He's 7,400, like that one quite a bit. This guy will be a little more popular as he should be by now, but I've been team Bobby Mack since Bobby Mack was like a thing. So we're going to continue that. That lefty T6 at the Open in 2019, coming in great form. That Scottish Open, he dialed it up there quite a bit. T18, he kind of struggled over the week, like Sunday. Or no, he's under 70 every round, but really never pulled it away. But U.S. Open T35, T40 at the PGA, T8 at the British Masters, 12th at the Masters. Like the only cut the dude's missed in his last 10 was the Players Championship, where he was 3 over. So I'm pretty sure that was on the number. He's been playing outstanding golf. So Bobby Mack at 73, I'll jump on that train. English, I like at 73 because of the form he has coming in, and now it gets fun. Any interest in Ricky Fowler, who was a T6 last time? He makes almost every cut at the British Open, which is crazy to think about, but the form's nasty.
No.
Okay. It's an interesting one because he's played phenomenal at these events. Like
the thing about Ricky is
I'm with you. It's just weird.
Especially in like big GBPs, he'll be over-owned. Like he was 20% owned of the Travelers and he missed the cut.
True.
I mean, I know he's coming off of back-to-back top 11s. It did drop down a little bit to 7% at the Rocket Mortgage, but still, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I've just never been a Ricky guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. A couple other guys now that make it interesting. Brendan Grace, 4 out of 5 last 5 Opens has made the cut here, including a T6 back in 2017. He plays very well in the wind. He had that wind in, I believe it was the Bahamas or one of those tournaments, the Puerto Rico Open or something like that, where it was windy as hell down there. So picked up that W, and he's coming off a 54 at the Scottish Open, T7 at the U.S. Open, 4th at the Memorial, T38 at the PGA. So he's playing some pretty good golf. Alexander Noren. This isn't a fun one because he didn't do what people wanted him to do last week for starters. But when it comes to the Open Championship, 4 for 4 on made cuts with an 11th, 17th, and 6th the last 3 years. And he checks the boxes in the windy situation model. So he's another guy that really stands out as someone quite interesting to me on this. Like Grace, where the heck did Noren go? Well, he's on here somewhere. But he's in play at 7,200. Danny Willett at 71. Another guy made 5 straight cuts, including the 6th last go around as T6 back in 2015 as well. Coming in okay form. It's Danny Willett, so not the greatest of form, but miscut the Scottish Open, 67th, 26th, 64th, 11th. So $7,100 could run hot at the Open Championship. Bernd Wiesberger at 71 is another guy. So this is why I said you can play some leverage here. 3 out of 4 made cuts here, including a 32nd last go around. And the last guy I'll mention here, and if we want to talk about horrible current form, Matthew Kuchar's your guy. But when it comes to Open Championships, he's a beast. So it's almost like if you like the idea of playing Ricky Fowler, you can play Kuchar for 300 less and a lot less ownership. Is the way I look at it. Kuch loves playing in the Opens, just rough current form. So that's where I'm at in this range. What do you got in the 6K range?
Start with Ryan Palmer at $6,900, coming off the 4th place finish last week.
Right, real quick. I say something. Sorry. Yep. I just found Noren. He is tied with Lee Westwood as the number 1 DK scorer in this model. That's what it was. Okay, as you were.
So Ryan Palmer, 4th last week. He played this event back in 2011, finished 30th. Stuart Sink at $6,900, past winner, finished 30th here in 2011. Hasn't missed a cut since the Players way back in March. Those are my 2 main guys. Some other guys that you could consider: Aaron Rai, Ray. I don't know how you really say his last name. RAI, $6,800. I think he's fine. And then way down, Antoine Rosner, $6,400. The model likes him as well. But yeah, I mean, there's some names down here. It's just a matter of.
Are you going to eat the Burns jock?
Yeah. The who? No.
Sam Burns jock, $6,300. Everyone's talking about him. Like, I'm not doing it.
I've seen that too, and I would fade that all day long.
Yeah. Like we've seen him run good, but the way he can spray the ball at times, this could get ugly quick too, like real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if he wins, like kudos, like awesome, do something, buddy. But he's going to be probably usually the 6K guys aren't super chalky, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the 20% range. Good due to stars and scrub approach. So sorry, back to where you were.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm done.
I like Sink at 69. I'm with you there. I go Kiz as well. Starting to play a little better golf, getting into form, and he plays very well at the Opens. 4 straight made cuts, T30, T2 his last 2 times out here. Shorter course. You get some roll out there in the links, and he's got a very good short game. So that can play really well for Kevin Kisner in a format like this. Richard Bland, for those that might think that name sounds familiar, it's because the U.S. Open, he was leading it going into the weekend, finished 50th. But he has 15th at the Scottish Open, 4th at the Irish, 3rd at the Maiden Humberland, 1st at the British Masters, T27 at the Canary Islands. Those are all the other events around the U.S. Open. He's actually playing great golf.
Yeah.
So he's interesting at 60, and he's an Englishman. So like, this will be not foreign to him at all. So that's very interesting at $6,800. Like, if people pay attention, it'll stand out. But people might just remember the U.S. Open and be like, "Nah, I'm good." So it'll be. And Aaron Rye has been kind of the more popular name the last few weeks. So I'm curious there. So Bland at 68 is interesting. Charlie Hoffman 67, man. And if we're talking about approach game, he's one of the best iron players in golf. And when you look at the U.S. or the Open Championship history, 4 straight made cuts here, including a 17th, a 20th, and 17 and 18. So I don't mind Hoff at 67. Ryan Fox is interesting. You mentioned Rosner. Scrivener is interesting at 63. And then if you just want one YOLO play, because I won't name off everybody. If you want one YOLO play, Dean Burmeister at $6,100. Just almost say Dean Burmeister, $6,100. Pulling up his numbers here because I have to scroll quite a bit to get to him. But I had him written down for you. He is a very, very good Euro Tour player. And that's so might not stand up, but 35th at the Scottish, miscut at the Irish, 70th at the International, 59th at the PGA Championship, 6th at the British Masters, 4th at Canary Island, and he won an event, the Tenerife Open. So he's not elite, but he might be able to make the cut for you at $6,100. So the reason I brought him up is him. You mentioned Scrivener, Rosner, those kind of guys. Burns is going to be super popular. So if you still want to do stars and scrubs, I'd use one of those guys, is why I wanted to bring them up. Dom Walton says Chan Kim. Chan Kim is the one there. And he says also 6K range, random Euro guy who plays links golf all the time is more valuable than Sam Burns at Super Chalk in the U.S. Open. The Open. You are very, very, that's why I mentioned those other guys. They've been here. They've done that. So it's something to think about. All right, let's recap things real quick. Jesse, 10K and above, who you like?
Rom.
I'll go Brooksy. 9K range, who you like?
Spieth.
I'll go JT. 8K range, go with 2.
Paul Casey and Tommy Fleetwood.
I'll go with Reed and Fleetwood as well. 75 to 79, go ahead and go 2.
Jason Day and Cam Smith.
I'll go with Fitzpatrick and Lowry. 7K to 74, go 2.
Basenhoot and English.
Bobby Mack and Basenhoot as well for me. 6K range, choose your top one.
Palmer. But I think it'll be popular, so the pivot is Sink.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to go Kisner for now. But if Hoffman's low owned, saving $200 there, that could be quite like. I was kind of surprised to see him below some other guys there in that price range. Cash is okay this week. It's still sketchy because the tournament's going to go wild. But if you're starting a cash lineup, what do you like?
Like I said, Poulter I think is cash viable just because of his just kind of the way he is. Bezenhout would potentially be there too if you're like, down there kind of in the low 7Ks. And then if you're up top, I would play somebody like Paul Casey.
Yeah, I'd put Spieth, Fitz, and Bobby Mack would be my first 3 in cash. You could build around that pretty easily, I think. GPPs, give me 3 guys.
John Rahm, Palmer, and then Jason Day.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 3 guys in the middle, and then you can decide if you want to go top and bottom with it, whatever you want to do. But I'll start with Day, Bobby Mack, and Brandon Grace. Then you can decide where you want to go with the rest of it. Balanced or stars and scrubs from there. With that being said, Jesse, who you got winning this thing?
Man, I was looking at odds there. I can't believe Rahm is like half the price of the next guy.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. So, you got a little bit of value on somebody like Paul Casey at 40 to 1. I don't know that any of these guys down low would win, but Spieth at 18 is not terrible. Xander at 18 as well.
I think Fitz at 33 and Reed at 40 stand out as interesting to me. Those seem like decent values, though I'm also kind of homer when we start talking about those guys. I'll be honest about that. But they stand. I agree, though, when you start going down farther, it doesn't really seem like a lot of things that stand out to win here. But I think the long shots have done pretty well at this event, at this course overall. Now, when it comes to Open Championships, long shots have done well as a whole. To keep in mind, it's kind of one of those tough scenarios there. Z Chronic says Hoffman, everyone was on him a couple weeks ago. Low owned now. Agreed. Totally agree with you there. So we'll see what happens, Jesse. But it's gonna be an awesome week. Any final thoughts for people putting lineups together for the Open?
No, not for the Open. I don't know.
All right. That being said, Dominic says Andy Sullivan won the British Amateur and he's top 20, and he was a late ad. So there's been like 15 ads, it feels like, so far, and there might be more to come. So a lot can change between now and when we tee things off. So keep that in mind. But what we do know is an amazing golf tournament is being played in Kentucky this week. An amazing field.
Amazing.
The Corn Ferry Tour wishes they could hold. What do you have for us at the Barbasol? The shaving cream Open. I mean,
the shaving cream. Yeah, the shaving cream. So Bo Hostler coming off the miscut at 8,700. I feel like that's a low price on him in this field. Cheston Hadley at 79. Also, Wilco Neon.
Bomber.
I don't know how to say his name. Let's just call him Wilco. Yeah, because we were going through, like I was talking to some of my buddies who are members out at Keene or champions, which it's called. Anyways, at this golf course, they're members there. And we're going through all the holes that this guy could drive. And, like, for example, on one, I think you can probably get there with a 4-iron. That's a par 4.
That's wild.
I mean, because I can hit a driver down there to like 80 yards. You know what I mean? So, and then we were I feel like it's not a long course. I'm not sure how they have the rough. I would imagine it's cut down. If it's not, of course, I mean, they'll tear this place up, which I think the last time that they played here, it was like the winner was like 25 or close to 30 under. Sam Ryder at 7,500, Vincent Whaley at 7,400, both those guys too. Like especially Whaley, I feel like that's a low price on him. Kevin Tway at 71, Kierdeck's in the field 7,000, and then you gotta play Josh Teeter if you're going to play this event.
Yes,
I mean 6,800. He finished sixth here in 2019. My model actually does like him decently well, so there you go. That's just kind of
it should be called the Josh Teeter Open. It really should
be. I mean,
let's be real about it.
He gets the most the most press and all that kind of stuff because he is the local guy. So. Be rooting for him and his caddy, our boy Lee.
Yeah, our boy Lee. I was looking at this pricing right here. I was like, I'm gonna have a few lineups. Like just looking at this right now, seems like Chris Baker down here at 68. He's a birdie machine when he gets clicking. I like that quite a bit. Austin Cook's played well here in the past. I remember that very clearly now. He's 6,900. But any event where you can have the highest price guy as Seamus Power, and you got my boy P. Raj at 10,000, Tom Lewis at 99, like this is just screaming, play me. So I'm going to definitely have to have some lineups in there. Hey, I was right with P. Raj last week. It was. So sometimes he just fits the mold. But like think birdie machines, think Corn Ferry. Like Cheston Hadley played well last week. He's 79 this week. As much as he's a goofball, like he won a couple years ago, for Christ's sake, and he's $7,900. Like he's not a scrub.
And he was in contention a couple weeks ago too. So
yeah, so start thinking about stuff that way of the mispricing, like Jesse mentioned with like Hostler. He's a defending winner. Cook's a winner. Like look at guys that have played like Kadir. I always go to him because he's like top 50 player in the world for crying out loud. He's $7,600. But like go look at your models, as they say.
Yeah,
and look for birdie makers. That like birdie or better. I'd look at that right out the gate. So.
If you have any questions about the course or whatever, I've played it a bunch. So,
yep.
And I know people who will be around there, so might have a little bit of some course conditions type shit beforehand. But I mean, I don't know that's going to help you much because it's really a luck box putting fest when these guys get on this course.
How's the weather supposed to be? Because I think it was when Herman won it. Herman won it last time, right? Jim Herman. Yeah, I remember he was like sweating through every shirt he ever put on because it was so hot and humid.
Oh, it'll be hot. Like I was out in my backyard today messing with my garden and just pouring sweat, like not even really doing much. So it's going to be hot and humid. There's a chance of rain every day because we live in a fucking rainforest. So I mean, it's just how it is. Like there'll be thunderstorms, throughout, and there's pretty much basically a 50% chance of rain every day. So,
well, I don't know about you guys, but I am pumped for the Shaving Cream Open now.
The good thing about it is, man, it'll be on, on Golf Channel. Yeah,
I'll be able to watch it
in the afternoon on Sunday. Yeah,
so we're good.
Exactly.
No, the thing is, any golf fan should want to play this because at least we know these golfers. It's not like it's some random stuff. And hey,
well, there's some randoms in there.
Well, there are, but it'd be nice if one of these days, I know it'll never happen, and people can probably turn off the show by now if you want, but it'd be nice if one of these days DK at least gave them a little bit of decent contest, because people would play it. People would 100% play it.
Oh yeah,
if the contests were there.
Yeah.
So one of these days,
this week, but it's all in on the Open Championship, which will make sense. But
it does. So we'll see.
Either way.
But we'll wrap it up right there. Make sure you check out the podcast at Always Press DFS. Jesse's at DFS Golf Gods. I'm at BDentric. Enjoy it this week. We had the last major of the season, plus the Shaving Cream Open. We get 2 tournaments for the price of 1. So go check it all out, and I will catch you guys next week.